Hey, welcome to another video, Lessons on Learning. Quick videos in 15 minutes or less, just to help us understand how learning works and to use that understanding to create better learning experiences for our own learners in our training sessions. I did a video recently talking about managing frustration when it comes to progress and how sometimes learners can get a little frustrated because they feel that they're not where they should be at a particular point in their training. And we talked the difference between what they perceive as being the line of progress versus the actual line of learning progress. So go check that video out if you can. I did also mention in that video that there was another aspect to progress, and it's something that I get asked about an awful lot, or actually not asked about. It's something that I get commented on quite a lot, where educators, especially more senior or experienced educators and trainers, will talk about maybe a new generation of learners that want to learn things very quickly, and they have no attention span, and they want things straight away, and they want things immediately, instant gratification. First of all, I have to say that I kind of disagree with that, really. I do disagree. I disagree with this whole premise that people's attention span has shrunk, where you read terrifying posts now where it says, the average person's attention span is 2.6 seconds and something like that. And I think, well, that's a bit stupid, isn't it? Because it took longer than 2.6 seconds to read the post about people's attention span. And I don't really believe it. I do have a theory where that information comes from, and maybe if you want me to do a video on that theory, I will do. Drop a comment below, but I don't think it's true. And the reason that I don't think it's true is because if young people today, or if this new generation of learners really had an issue with attention spans, then why do the movie studios continue to make 2, 3, and 4 hour movies? Why is the latest Marvel movie 3.5 hours long, and the latest Avatar movie 3.5 hours long? Why are things getting longer like that? And again, if learners can't concentrate for a period of time, if they can't stay focused and concentrate, then why are those same people on their gaming machines, for hours on end? This is the thing, I have I have educators of a certain age saying the trouble with this new generation of learners is that they won't stay committed, they won't stay focused on anything. And in the next breath, they're telling me about their own kids or children or people in their lives that won't get off their Xboxes or PlayStations because they're on them all day long and all night long. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to make sense. I think I know what it is, and I think the reason is it's not that this generation of learners can't stay focused. They can stay focused and they can stay committed for a long time. But what they crave is a sense of progress. You see, one of the key elements to motivation is a sense of progress. A sense that you're making progress, that you can visibly see and feel progress in what it is that you're doing, that you can feel yourself getting better. You see evidence of yourself getting better. And going back to the gaming industry, the reason the gaming industry can keep people on those gaming platforms for so long is because they are fantastic at showing progress. So every time as the minutes and hours are clicking by on this game, there's a counter in the corner that's racking up a score, or there's some images in the corner that are racking up medals or coins or powers or something. And then, of course, what else do you have in this game? What else do you have? Can you think that really shows progress? What do all games have? They have levels. They have levels. And these levels never end. But here's the thing. Those young people and even older people, all people that do that kind of gaming, that we're worried about their attention span, they wouldn't stay committed if the game just had one level and everything stayed the same. But first and foremost, the game has multiple levels. Secondly, the levels never finish. You never get to the end. And thirdly, the third key, you know what it is? Each level gets progressively more challenging. So it challenges people a little bit more. And if you were to ask me what's the key to focus, what's the key to keeping people focused? Simple. Challenge. the right kind of challenge. I've talked about it before, the Goldilocks challenge. Not too hard, not too easy, just right, just enough to stretch people. So the next time that you're planning out a training session with somebody, try to think about it in terms of a game format. And I don't necessarily mean gamify it. That's a whole other video. And I might I add here, the more you can gamify something, the better. Gamification is fantastic when it comes to learning. But for now, just think of it in terms of levels. So if you're teaching a particular task, and that could be any task, like in my industry, in the hair and beauty and wellness industry, it could be doing a particular service or something like that. But it could be anything, baking a cake, building a brick wall, changing a carburetor, programming code into a computer, whatever task that you're doing. Instead of thinking about the task in its entirety from beginning to end, try to think of it in levels. Because if you think of it in its entirety, beginning to end, that's where you're going to have problems. That's where you're going to have issues. Because if it takes 2 hours to complete a task, it's going to take me 2 hours to really be able to recognize and see any progress. In other words, from start to finish, there's the progress. And I'm not going to wait 2 hours. It's too long to see that progress. I need feedback a little bit quicker. So what I want you to think about doing is I want you to think about setting this task up. Let me just move that microphone out of the way. I want you to think about setting this task up in terms of, here's the beginning of the task. Here's where we're going right at the beginning. And here's the finish, the completion of the task, the finishing line of the task. And that whole process there, I don't know, let's imagine that whole thing is going to take, let's say it's going to take 2 hours, that kind of thing, okay? And these are just numbers. These are just arbitrary numbers. But instead of thinking of it as being sort of a beginning and an end, think of it in terms of how can you set this up so that there are levels. So what's the first level that you're going to get your learner to? And you literally say something along the lines of, okay, we're going to start this task, and this is where we're going. This is going to be the end of the task. So you show them the benchmark, in teaching terms, it's what we call the standard. You show them the standard. Here's what a good one looks like. This is where you're moving towards. But for now, we're just going to go from here to here. We're just going to get to level 1. And level 1 is this. It looks like this. And we're going to get to level 1 in, and again, I'm going to make this up. We're going to get to level 1 in 15 minutes. And so you start working towards level 1. And as soon as they get there, as soon as they get to level 1, yay, amazing. We celebrate. Celebrate progress, celebrate success. Well done, you got to level 1. Look at that. Look at what you could do before. Now look at what you can do. And the process is simple. It continues just like that, exactly the same. So what I want you to do, let me get this back on here. Now we're going to set the next level, level 2. And maybe level 2, that might be, I don't know, maybe that'll take a little bit longer. Maybe that's 30 minutes to get to level 2. And as soon as we get to level 2, this is where we're getting to. This is what we're going to do. As soon as we get to level 2, yay, fantastic. We celebrate again. Just make sure, take this, oops, hang on, not that one. Take this celebration and we celebrate again. We celebrate progress, just like on the computer game. There's a little firework goes off, a little cheer. Pop, 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 pop. Congratulations, you got to the end of level 2, that kind of thing. And now what's happening is we keep building these levels of progress into the task every so often. It doesn't matter how long they are. Maybe, maybe they're just a 5-minute task or maybe a 30-minute task. But you remember, you're giving feedback all the way, just the way that you are with the computer game. You're giving feedback. That's really good. That's good. I like the way that you're doing that. Try to do this. How's that working out for you? Try to do a bit more of this, a bit less of that. So you're still giving feedback. The point is, the learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. Well, that's the wrong one. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to wait until they get to the end. The learner doesn't have to until they get to the end to see and recognize, and most importantly, celebrate progress. They can see progress happening all the time and they're not having to wait too long. So in actual fact, what you're doing is you're accommodating what we feel is this lack of focus, which it isn't really a lack of focus. It's a desire to see and recognize progress. And you're showing them, you're feeding this desire to see progress. And so instead of having one big task that they have to wait 2 hours before they can see what's happened, now you've just got 4 or 5 smaller tasks and they can see progress, they can see it developing. Here's the other thing that I would consider as well, and here's a handy little tip. You can have this. I often do this with a lot of my learners. Make sure that you create some kind of evidence that they're making progress. And by what I mean by that is perhaps get your learner, I mean, you know, they're probably going to have a smartphone with them or something like that. Get your learner's smartphone and get either you or somebody else, get them to photograph what the learner's doing. So the learner can see where they're at when this photograph was taken at the beginning of level 1, and they can see what's going off. And now get them to photograph or to video record what they're doing at the end of level 1. And so you can show, look at where you are now. Look at what you're doing. You're doing this now. You're doing all of this. And before, 20 minutes ago, you could only do this. But now you can do this. Is this making sense, my friends? And they can see the progress. Look at how you were stood. Look at how difficult it was for you to do this. Now look at how easily you're flowing. It's a little bit like, you know, look at this video. 20 minutes ago, you were juggling 2 balls. And now 20 minutes, look, you're juggling 3 balls, and they can see evidence of that. When they can see evidence of progress, they're going to not only feel focused and engaged, they're going to feel much more motivated and inspired to get to the next level, to make more progress. Because just like the computer game, when that person has got to the end of level 2, what do they want more than anything else in the world? To get to the end of level 3. Does that make sense? Because one of the keys to self-motivation, one of the fundamental keys, there are 3 fundamental keys to motivation, and one of them is a sense of progress, being able to see, recognize, feel progress. So do that going forward. Make sure that you split your task into levels, and most importantly, encourage your learner in between levels. Let them know what the level is and how far they're going. Most importantly, celebrate when they get there. Celebrate their win, celebrate their success. Make sure that they really recognize and understand the progress that they've made. Okay? Look, if you've enjoyed this video, I know they're super quick and I hope they're helpful. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Drop me a quick like if you can, and perhaps do me a favor and drop me a comment. How's the video? Is it good? Is there anything else that you need? Anything that should be left out or included? If there's a particular topic you want me to cover on a video, drop a comment and I'll see what I can do. All right, listen, thanks for watching. Go tell your friends. Bye-bye.